Welcome to Bowties Sometimes Cool. Myself, Ashley, and James. Good evening, James.
Good evening. How you doing?
Very good, thank you. If this was only visual, the look on Ed's face then it was like, yeah, how very dare you? No, only joking. He wasn't. He wasn't that. He was just like, ooh. And we're joined by young Edward Watkins.
Hello, how are you, gentlemen?
Very good, thank you. Very good. It's Friday. It's the 13th of December, which means this will go out on about the 20th of April. No, no, this is hopefully the Christmas special. And this evening, we're going to do one which was chosen by young Xander, I believe. Um, and that is Batman Returns.
I've been down here too long. It's time for me to ascend.
From the sewers of Gotham, a new villain emerges.
You didn't invite me, so I crashed.
From the rooftops of Gotham, the perfect enemy comes to life.
I am Catwoman. Hear me roar. Yeah.
And the only one who can save this city is a creature of the night.
Hey, stud. I thought we had something together.
We do.
While she craves a romance she can sink her claws into,
You're catnip to a girl like me.
he plots a foul reign of destruction.
My dear penguins, thanks to Batman, the time has come to punish all of Gotham!
You missed. Above Gotham looms its greatest hero.
Now, Batman Returns, to be fair, I thought, when people say who's the best Batman, I always think, yeah, Michael Keaton. I know you're going to say Adam West. Okay, best cinematic Batman, Michael Keaton, shall we say. And I always think about the first one. But then when I started looking back at this, I remembered how fondly I remembered it really in a massive part of my childhood. What year was this, Ed? Hang on,
92.
92. Yeah, so, I was in my teens then, was I? Yeah, yes. Um, that said, I was still collecting all the trading cards. Was I a bit too old to be collecting trading cards? Probably. I don't know. No, you're never too old for these things, are you? And so I think I've got the full set somewhere. God knows where, in my mum's garage with the rest of my life. So I will find them again one day, along with my Remco Karate Kid figures. But I do remember thinking this is fantastic because Jack Nicholson, I liked him, but I loved Michelle
Yeah.
Pfeiffer and
Now
Jack.
that you've got,
Oh, go on.
I'm cutting across you there. Because now
Oh,
you've just said playing cards. No, I'm in the middle of an eBay purge. Some not quite a bonfire of the vanities as such, but stuff I don't need. And I found,
oh, what
not
did you
from
find?
Batman Returns, but a shed load of original Batman trading cards.
No
Loads of them.
way. The first one.
The
Oh, I
first,
remember.
loads of them. So I'll probably get about 30p on eBay for them. Um, But yeah, they're going on there at some point when it can be asked. So there you go. If you want some original Batman trading cards and stickers, unused stickers, hit me up. I'm your man.
let me know when you put them on eBay, and I will be bidding. I will be bidding. I've got the Batman Returns one. The only reason I've got the Batman Returns one, I think I've got all of them. The main reason being was because at that particular point in my life, my parents were running a hotel, and so we had like cash and carry card. Now, of course, you don't need stickers for a hotel. You kind of need them for newsagents, but they don't question what your business is when you go to a cash and carry. So that's why I've got most of Batman Returns, because literally we bought the boxes that you would put in a newsagent's until I got the whole set. So that worked out quite well. But I am impressed. I'm impressed there, James. Yeah. Let me know. Let me know when they're on eBay. I think you'll have a bidder there. Yeah. So do you know what? I'm sorry. I'm a bit size. I've been a bit off my stride there because I'm like, wow, I remember them well. That is a big part of my childhood. Ed was collecting Weetabix boxes for Doctor Who at this stage, but I was I was collecting Batman cards. So yeah, okay, I'm on it. I'm on it. Right now, back to tonight then. So Jack Nicholson. I didn't know whether I liked him as an actor or not really. And going back to Ed's favorite Batman, I'd seen a lot of the 1960s Batman on TV. You know, he used to be on Channel 4 or whatever it was of the weekend. So, and I quite like Cesar Romero. So I was like, not sure about that. I like the other guys as well, Burgess Meredith and what have you. Who was the other one? We had Julie Newmar, Eartha Kitt. Wasn't there someone else that did it in the original?
Frank Ocean was the original Riddler, but there was John Aston as well, wasn't there?
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, I loved all of those, but I did quite like Michelle Pfeiffer. She'd already done Grease 2 by this stage, which I'd seen her in as well, and I thought, oh, she's nice. Apparently, she had hundreds of batsuit, well, maybe not hundreds, over 800 cat suits, I think, because they were so tight that they used to break because there wasn't much room for maneuver in them, when you're doing all these things. But anyway, back to that. So I thought, oh, great, she's in it. And Danny DeVito, I'd seen him in, presumably he'd done Twins. If he hadn't done Twins, I can't remember what year Twins was, but he must have done it. If he didn't,
is it 91 Twins?
I think so. The thing is, when you're trying to remember these things, you've got to bear in mind kids won't understand these days, will they? But the films came out, and then when you saw them, could be a very different time and a very different sequence because it used to take years for a film to come out anyway, and it just depends what VHS you happen to buy. Because you were talking about 18 months, aren't you? Before it came out to the rent. No, say a year before it out on rental market, then 18 months on rental market. You're talking like 2.5 years plus before you would be able to get a VHS. I think the only film that broke that mold, or I think the film that broke that mold, if memory serves me correctly, is Home Alone. I think that went to VHS fairly quickly. But anyway, sorry, go on.
Twins was 1988.
Yeah,
Jesus Christ, was it? Oh,
so. And I quite liked it because, well, Danny DeVito, I thought he was okay. And but there's a bit of a backstory here. Michael Keaton back, Christopher Walken, great. I'd seen him in A View to a Kill, Ed's favorite Bond film, and there was elements I felt in this film of the old Batman, perhaps more so than the Batman 1989. Yeah, I felt it was a bit more psychedelic in its color. There was a bit more comic booky. I felt this one particularly. So I really enjoyed it for all of those reasons that I've just outlined. Probably not a very good film critique, but there's just a massive part of my childhood there. And great Batmobile again, good villains. I do have a bit of a problem with the scene towards the end when Batman reveals himself to Selena Kyle to be that he is Bruce Wayne, because I don't like the fact that he's 1 minute the cowl is on and his eyes are blacked out, and the next minute he's taking the cowl off and his eyes aren't. Little things, first world problems, really. If that's all I can find that's wrong with it. But I really did enjoy it. I'll probably give a bit more of a better critique than that in a moment, but I've talked quite a lot for me. So I'm going to hand over to Edward, who I can see is like itching. Every time I'm saying something, he's like, oh, yeah. He might turn around and say it's a load of rubbish now. You can never tell with Ed. Right, Ed, how are you going?
Okay. Wasn't a fan of the original. I much preferred this one. I remember going to the cinema with friends, seeing this in '92 and quite enjoying it. I did my revision about just over a week ago, and I was struck by a few things on it. First of all, it couldn't be anyone else's film than Tim Burton's. It's got that Tim Burton look immediately. It's sort of the Art Deco Gothic, almost sort of Fritz Lang-esque look to the sets in it, and it was pretty much all on sets as well. Rather, there's no hardly any, if any, location work in it. It's interesting the clothes everyone's wearing as well. You can't really tell which time it's set in. It's almost timeless. Christopher Walken as Max Schreck is a very Dickensian looking villain. Some of the clothes people are wearing, are they 30s? Are they 50s? Some of them look more modern. So it's not really set to any particular time. The only people, there's television, but they look like sort of 70s, 80s TVs. But people's fashion sense is still the 30s trilby hats and suits. So it's quite a timeless um, film. It's quite grotesque in a gothic way. The beginning, I mean, where Oswald's Cobblepot, the penguin's parents, dump him in the river. That could have been done, in black and white shadow puppetry. It's fantastic the way it done it. The way it looks, it's beautiful, beautiful looking. I unfortunately I only saw it on DVD, so I can assume it looks amazing on Blu-ray or 4K. It will look absolutely stunning. Um, Danny DeVito was a name I'd heard of at the time. I'd not seen Twins, but I knew the name, and I wasn't much of a fan of the Penguin from the original. He's my least favorite of the supervillains. I always like the Riddler and the Joker and the what else was the surprising King Tut and people like that. So the Penguin never really did it for me. But seeing this sort of really monstrous gothic take on the Penguin was wow. That's something else. A product of its time in that it sort of has the trope of disability as evil, which is a shame. But I don't think people thought any further than, oh, he's a villain. He's a villain. Then I don't think there was any harm intended or any offense intended. But I think if it was made today, it would be different. And in a funny way, the real villain, even though Catwoman and Penguin are seen as the villains, Max Schreck's the villain. I mean, he's been born with a silver spoon in his mouth. It's his choice to be the man he is. Whereas Oswald Cobblepot and Selena Kyle are victims who are just fighting back against capitalism, basically. So I quite like that. I quite like that. Michael Keaton, yeah, he's all right. He's no Adam West, but he's all right.
Dear God.
It has
Yeah.
as I,
Sorry, Ed. I didn't mean to think out loud there. Sorry.
That's okay. But as Ash said, it is a little bit more zany, a little bit more comic book. I do like the scene where the Penguin's taken over the Batmobile and he's got his own little mini Batmobile he drives in the back of his Penguin van. I like the Penguin's henchmen, the circus people. It's got that almost one foot in horror gothic look to it. So yeah, really very, very well made film. Plot, let's make everyone think Batman's a bad guy. Yeah, okay. But I think the whole film is a spectacle, and it's a really, really well made spectacle because at the end of the day, it's not an obscure art house piece. It is a summer blockbuster, or was it summer it came out?
No, I think this was around Christmas time, wasn't it?
Was it around Christmas? Okay,
Yeah.
but it was designed as a blockbuster film for mainstream audiences, so it does but the way it's made. It's made like an art house film for a mainstream audience. So yeah, I mean, I've got a lot of time for Tim Burton as a director. So he's done really well to get the film to have his vision and have it, put out as a film even braver at Christmas than it would have been to be put out in the middle of the summer.
No, Ed, I've got to reverse there and
Okay.
take that back. Hashtag fact checked. 10th of July 1992.
I
I don't know
thought it
where
was summer.
I don't know where I got Christmas from.
I
There is
remember going to see it.
there's some
summer.
blockbusters that have come out at Christmas. Wasn't
Yeah.
Titanic out at Christmas and things like that?
Could well have been.
Some obscure one. So anyway,
But
I thought it was. Apologies.
well, I mean, it doesn't matter. It's still that that the studio Warner Brothers let him make a blockbuster film in an art house style, which is really excellent. That he was basically given full creative control as to how to make this film, and to make the villains not just cardboard cutters, to make them sympathetic characters who are, like I said before, victims of the real villain, who is Max Schreck, who is indicative of all that is wrong with the United States of America in one person. But yeah, not half bad at all. I'll take you up on that. You know when you said he takes his mask off to show Selena Kyle who he is?
Yes.
She'd worked out who he was earlier.
Well, yes, but
Yeah.
when he did the reveal, which
Okay.
yeah, okay, I should put it that way.
Yeah, because Max Shrek says, "What, Bruce Wayne? What are you doing dressed up as Batman?" And Penny didn't drop with him.
No, no,
But
yeah, that's
yeah,
true.
but no, it's a not half bad way of making something quite grotesque and quite horrific for a mainstream audience. So yeah, not a bad film at all.
Question for you, Ed, though. Who is Edward Edward Cobblepot? Sorry. Okay, let's just call who is Oswald's father in this?
Oh, he's quite a famous actor. Is it Temple Tudor or something like that?
No, Paul Rubens,
Paul
aka
Rubens, yeah.
Pee Wee.
Pee Wee Herman.
Yeah, yeah.
I
I don't,
think they wanted. God, this is appalling. I've forgotten his name. The original Penguin, the
Burgess
actor.
Meredith.
Just
But
Meredith,
yes,
yeah.
they wanted Burgess Meredith to cameo as Cobblepot's father, but he was unwell at the time. He couldn't do it. That would have been a lovely little touch if it had gone ahead.
It
But
would, it would.
yeah.
He
Mm.
would have been well, no, I was going to say you'd have been quite old by then, but no, maybe not. He'd done more recently obviously done the Rocky films, and then he'd done
I,
Santa Claus the movie and stuff. But he would have been getting on a bit though, wouldn't he? By then,
I think, yeah, because I think Rocky Five was the last one he was in, and he was a flashback, and he looked very elderly
yeah,
in that one. He was only in like one scene or something. He looked very elderly.
he would
I
have
don't
been.
know how old he
Yeah,
was, but it would have been lovely to have seen. And it's nice that they wanted to do it, and it's just sad it didn't work out, I suppose.
well, I'm all about my facts this evening, so let's work this out. 1907. So
85.
85. Yeah. So yeah. To be honest, I can probably imagine you saying, "Yeah, I can't be bothered." Even if I get to 85, I won't be going out to do a film set. A film, no, 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 no. So, James, as you have those cards, um,
I do like my Batman films. I love Batman. I'm a comic book geek. I'm more of a Marvel guy, I have to confess. Um, and I have a bit of an issue with DC Comics movies because apart from a couple, I don't think they've ever really successfully worked out how to transplant DC onto the screen. Um, Superman, Christopher Reeve, brilliant. The first two were fantastic. Superman 2 is probably the best DC film ever made. Um, although I love Michael Keaton as Batman, I love that. Hey, I love those four original Batman flicks, all of them, even the god awful ones. But they're not perfect films. Um, I, I suppose I'm a little bit of an outlier. I think the best DC adaptation they've ever done was probably something like Harley Quinn or even Peacemaker, the series. I love Peacemaker, the series. If you never watched it, it's tremendous. John Cena in that role is absolutely to die for. But running back from all that, this is still my favorite Batman film. Um, and it's a curious beast. It's a bit like Bond, Doctor Who, the other things that we love and talk about a lot. It's a huge canon, and there is room for many different takes, interpretations. Who the hell doesn't love Adam West? If you don't watch that '60s Batman series and come away feeling amazing, then there's something deeply wrong with you because it's just so much fun, and it was exactly what it should have been at the time. Um, then there's room for the campier elements. I understand, Batman and Robin, not a good film, but I watch it and I enjoy it, knowing it's not a good film, but I have a good time with it, and that's kind of all you really want as a audience member. But if you're looking at it creatively, critically, I think this is the best one they did, even to this day. And there's so much to say about it. I mean, picking up on some of the points you guys have already mentioned, Tim Burton obviously had total creative control, and that was his condition. He didn't want to come back for it. I think he's on record as saying he found the first Batman film that made ludicrous amounts of money for what was expected of it. He found it boring. He didn't like it, and he only agreed to come back. And what was it, 4 years, 3, 4 years between films, and that's quite odd. in the in that era of blockbusters, shit, this has made a lot of money. Let's get another one out quick. He just wouldn't come back for it because he said, "What's the point of doing it again?" And he would only come back if he had total creative control. I think he fired the original script writers and brought his own people in. Um, so it was completely his vision, and kind of agreeing and disagreeing with what you were saying before, Ed, in that it's comic booky and Tim Burton film. Again, he's on record. He intentionally was not trying to make a comic book film. He didn't like comics. He wasn't trying to pander to comic book readers, which is a brave and probably the correct choice because you're making a movie, different thing altogether. So that whole vision, even though it has these comic book elements in it, they're there just because they're part of Tim Burton. And I don't know if you'll have read it. He's a bit of an artist, a bit a writer as well. He had a book out a while back, which I'm sure you can still get, called "The Melancholy Death of Oyster Boy," which is like a collection of his poems and short writings and things. And if you read that, I've got a copy somewhere, unless I've just sold it in my eBay purge. If you've got a copy of it, read it because it's fantastic and it gives you a real insight into his mind and how it works, and you can just see how the guy approaches making films because it's all there. I don't think he wanted to use the Penguin because I think he said, similar to what you said, Ed, he's the least favorite, but also he had no real reason for doing what he's doing. The Joker, the Riddler, Catwoman all have psychologies around them, and the Penguin was just a guy in a top hat robbing banks and things. And this, I think, it was the first time, throughout any kind of Batman iteration that they actually gave him a backstory. And that again was based on one of Tim Burton's paintings, and I forget its title, but if you look it up afterwards, you'll see it, where it was this grotesque-looking figure. My name is something, and I forget the name. And the imagery of it was he was a boy who was bullied because of the way he looked, and it was very sad. And he used that painting to base the image of Penguin on. And I think it works tremendously well because Penguin is in this film is far from being just an odd chap who wears funny clothes. He is you are sympathetic to him. Same with Catwoman. I mean, again, similar to what you said, Ed. In this day and age, if it was made, because Catwoman is clearly a feminist critique. She as a character, she is someone who has been victimized, ignored, brutalized by men, and continues to be throughout the film, or at least they attempt to, and she fights back against it. And even Batman, Bruce Wayne, at the end, trying to tell her to come with her, to come with him and come live with him, and she rejects it and pushes off those advances. But it was written by men, so I think if you made that film today, you would have a female writer to give that a little more authenticity, but probably quite groundbreaking in the way it's presented, because you always see in comic books and in movies, the woman's always there in a skimpy outfit, and she was very much intentionally so, in fetish gear. She was in a bondage suit, basically, that was gradually falling apart as the film went on every time she was hurt. But she owns that completely, and everything's on her terms. So, in terms of character development, I think it's really very good. I like, despite the color and the spectacle of what's going on around it, because it's matted against the snow and ice of Christmas in Gotham, which I don't think has ever been more perfectly realized on screen. Despite all of that color, it's incredibly bleak because yes, they stop the Gotham's firstborn sons being killed, and they stop the exploding penguins and all that kind of thing. But Batman ultimately loses at the end. He can't redeem Penguin. He can't redeem Catwoman. Max Shreck's dead. And he's left alone in his mansion with his ancient butler on Christmas Eve. So there is no happy ending to it. I think that's the line I think if I remember as well, is if this isn't a happy ending. It really isn't. It's a sad movie where Bruce Wayne has to confront or is left to confront at the end of the film the realities of this dual existence that he has. And I think Catwoman's got a point if she calls him a coward. He won't own it. You'll hide in this world, in the elite. Um, so it's really bleak. Very. It's not an art film at all, as you were saying it, but it's not trying to be, but it presents things maybe unintentionally, intentionally, whatever. But it does lend itself towards an arty interpretation, despite being, a summer blockbuster. Um, so even when you stack it against, Heath Ledger and the Chris Nolan trio, got to admit I haven't brought myself to watch some of the others because again I'm just really depressed with how DC seem to be approaching film adaptations these days. It's the best Batman film for me.
Well, that beats my critique. To be honest, going back to what you were saying though, the Batman with Robert Pattinson, I watched that the other day because I was a bit bored. I got plenty of things to be doing. I shouldn't have been that bored, but I did watch it anyway. I don't know. I think you might quite like that. It's like Batman crosses. He's Batman and Sherlock Holmes at the same time. He's like he solves things in that sort of matter of fact way. He's very But anyway, you might like it.
I might give that a go. I'm not intentionally not watching them. It's just of having seen some of the DC movies. I just say, no. It's like when you said you stopped getting Bond wrong, when you made that outrageous video about Casino Royale. Stop getting DC wrong. I don't think they know how to bring these characters to the screen properly. And I think Keaton and Burton in particular did. I enjoy Val Kilmer, and for all the stick he gets, Joel Schumacher did a banging job, particularly with Batman Forever. I love that film. But no, they got it right. They got it as close to right as it's been so far.
Well, going back to DC, let's see what they do with the next Superman film, which won't be very far away.
They'll get it wrong.
They'll get it wrong. Yeah, they will. I don't know why they bother trying anymore. You cannot beat Christopher Reeve. I think if you, well, I suppose I haven't said that. You'll have some people that were obviously born the year 2000 onwards, but I think anyone born then will be like Christopher Reeve is the main Superman. So, any standout moments in this film, chaps? Any particular things that you like? I do like the one scene where Selena Kyle's sort of walking across. I was going to say the car park. I'm just making things up in my head, But she's walking, and she gets attacked by that clown guy, and Batman gets out of his car and he shoots him, and he goes, "You missed," and then he pulls the cable. I'll put it in. It's much better than explaining it. But I love little scenes like that. Really, Selena Kyle with a Keith Lemon bandage on for half of the film was pretty good. Also, her little transformation into Catwoman was good. Not much not to like about Michelle Pfeiffer, really. The scene where she is in the mall in the store, and she takes the heads off the mannequins with the whip. Did that in one take. She got a round of applause at the end of it. So
yeah, she learned how to use that.
Very proficient with the whip. Yeah, really. Very proficient.
Yeah, speaking about the Catwoman's transformation. I mean, it's again surprisingly metaphysical. Bit like Live and Let Die. We were talking about. There are elements of the supernatural there because she does appear to have 9 lives, literally, which is unexplained and should be unexplained. Should just be left. Is she just extremely lucky? Not sure how anyone survives the electrode in the mouth thing at the end. That frazzles poor Chris Walken to a crisp, and then she's silhouetted in the moonlight afterwards. But I like that. I like that he doesn't try and explain it. It's just there, and you interpret it as you want. And that's that again. That's just Tim Burton. You'll just put that stuff in, and you take it. You watch it. If you enjoy it, great. And if you don't, I don't really care. That's my vision, and it's there. And I like that approach, and I like those little supernatural elements. So that's a good one. I suppose I could do without the remote control car when they. That is in this one, isn't it? Yeah, when Penguin's doing the remote control car. Yeah, but it's fun. The whole satirical nature of it. The power behind the throne again. Ed, you said it's timeless. It's in terms of its themes, it's timeless. Penguin only gets put up as running for mayor because Max Schreck says so. And you know, the people are so easily led. Somebody tells them this guy is brilliant, and then the recording's leaked, and the crowd are throwing tomatoes at him in a heartbeat. It says a lot about society. So rather than, I suppose, standout moments, yeah, those themes and those elements are what I particularly enjoy and take away from.
And back to you, Ed, because
Yeah, I mean the scene I really like, and I think it's a lot to do with the music, is the face-to-face scene where they're dancing, and I think they know he knows that she knows that he knows that she. I think they both suspect, and then he says mistletoe can be deadly if you eat it, but a kiss can be even deadly if you. Should we start fighting now? Where they said the penny drops who they're actually with. I thought it was a really well done scene. That one, and I think the Susie and the Banshees song "Face to Face" is just it's sublime. It's fantastic. So that's probably my favorite scene in the whole film.
there's some really cracking scenes in there, and I'll just throw them all in a mega mix now. So I throw those in there. Now, if you were back, I mean, if I was in 1992, I would probably give this 10 out of 10. I'd probably give it 11 out of 10 because I just loved it. Um, Now let me think. Let me put my thinking cap on now. I suppose if I was going to critique it now, though, I would probably give it 8 because it's not a perfect film, but it's certainly up there, and I think it's deserved. I think it's deserving of an 8, possibly even more. We got your calculator ready, Ed? You got your calculator ready? Oh, wait, yeah, he is. um, James looking, he's thinking there. He's thinking he's going to critique this now. So come on, James.
I am thinking because I enjoy it a lot. So it's my favorite Batman film that I've seen because I haven't seen the latest one. But there are still imperfections to it, as you say. But I can't fault the cast at all. All of them, they're on absolutely top form. The age old trope of who's the real monster? Is it the guy in the sewer, or is it the rich guy in the suit? All of the feminist aspects, of the metaphysical aspects, but I can't honestly walk away and say that's one of the best films ever. So I will give it 7.5.
Oh, Ed's on it. He's typing. Here we are. Right.
Okay.
You got your score, Ed, because you know what you're going to.
I know I'm going to score it. Yeah. Um, I think it's one of the best films in a genre I'm not a fan of. So for me to like it, there's superhero films. I mean, if you want to call it that, the only ones I really like are the '67 Batman, this, and Watchmen, and the rest they do nothing for me. It's just a genre I don't like.
Whoa, whoa,
So
whoa,
the
whoa, whoa,
score.
whoa, 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 whoa. Hang on.
Oh, and the
Okay.
Christopher Reeve Superman.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Okay. Yeah. All right.
first two
Yeah.
Superman. Sorry that. Yeah. Sorry.
Wait.
Well,
Oh, I can't wait to hear this thing. Which are the least important ones? The Christopher Reeve
right.
Superman films.
I'll go again. So
No.
superheroes.
You can keep it. We're keeping it in. We're keeping.
Uh,
We're not
well,
even
okay,
editing.
okay, but
You
a
know what?
genre.
We're not even editing. It's bloody Christmas. I
Right,
need to get this out
fine,
in 12
fine.
days.
Well,
Right.
it's a genre I'm not a fan of. So there's not many films in this genre. All this Marvel stuff just did nothing for me. I sat through what was it called? Not Guardians of the Galaxy. Oh, Avengers Endgame in the cinema. I nearly fell asleep. It's just bored me to tears. However, for me to score this one, I'm going to score it. Shows the level of respect I have for the film, and I'm going to score it 7. And it's one of the best films in a genre I'm not a fan of. So collectively, 7.5.
Like
That
that.
is, yeah. I think that's respectable. When you see, sometimes I think some type films are like fantastic, and I go on to IMDb to see what the score is. I'm like, what? Because obviously there's some people like Ed who are very harsh, who bring the averages down. So on that bombshell, we're going to wrap this up. That was our Christmas special with what was it, a 7.5 Batman Returns. Go and watch it. James, I'll ask you in the new year, watch the Batman. I think you'll be actually pleasantly surprised. And on that bombshell, it's goodbye from me.
And it's goodbye from me.
And it's goodbye from me.
sewers of Gotham, a new villain emerges.
You didn't invite me, so I crashed!
From the rooftops of Gotham, the perfect enemy comes to life.
I am Catwoman. Hear me roar. Yeah.
And the only one who can save this city is a creature of the night.
Hey, stud. I thought we had something together.
We do.
While she craves a romance she can sink her claws into,
You're catnip to a girl like me.
he plots a foul reign of destruction.
My dear penguins, thanks to Batman, the time has come to punish all of Gotham!
You missed. Above Gotham looms its greatest hero.